Thanks for listening to Live Forever Young Radio. You've probably heard the phrase leaky gut, but may not be sure what it is. On the show today, Bob and Rollie talk about how leaky gut affects the body's intestinal lining and what gastrointestinal conditions and diseases it can lead to. They also help identify some of the causes of leaky gut and how to avoid it. They share some great things you can do to help strengthen gut health and rebuild the intestinal lining, especially if you're suffering with leaky gut. So sit back, relax, and get ready to live forever young.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Live Forever Young Radio. I am Bob Gilpatrick, and I'm here with Rollie Culp.
I'm here.
And it is officially the end of July, and the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team, for the second year in a row, has won the Stanley Cup.
That's right. And you could see
the champions.
I'm no longer Grizzly Adams. And I told you guys the whole time that we were going to win. And we were right.
You got to shave a little bit.
Yeah.
As a result of the championship,
I'm not feeling
you got
so
to
grizzly.
Go to the boat parade.
Yes,
where they had
did.
The Stanley Cup.
I did get to see them throw Stanley in the air and hang out on the ends of the boats. It was awesome, dude. It was really
Cool.
fun. It was worth it.
So here we are. Tampa Bay continues its march.
Right, and now we are champions, and we talk about champions a lot, but really we want you to be a champion of your own health. As an athlete, you're not just a champion of your sport. The reason why you can perform is because you're a champion of your health,
yes.
Right? And so that's what we want. That's why we talk about sports all the time, because you have to be healthy to perform. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're a professional, and you got to be healthy to do it.
It's a metaphor for your own championship.
Correct.
So, and today we're talking about leaky gut. So people are like, okay, well, we've heard of that. What exactly is it? So leaky gut is referring to a phenomena where compounds that are inside your intestinal tract, which are supposed to stay there, are leaking out into your blood.
Right, like a normal healthy lining of an intestinal tract. It's first of all, it's 4,000 square feet. It covers 4,000 square feet, your intestines does, which that's a lot of places you could get a crack in. Think about a wall that's 4,000 feet long. You can get a crack anywhere. And one of the things that it does is it controls the absorption of toxins into your body, right? So if you've got this 4,000 square foot long thing, and it's got to control what's coming into your body, considering the toxins and everything that it filters out, when you get cracks in it, it's a problem, right?
Yeah, so you can get toxins into your entire body. You can also have, cracks that are being caused from eating too much sugar,
right,
from having a bad balance of good and bad bacteria, and the cells are kind of, next to each other and tight together. And when they get separated a little bit, that channel is where things can leak out that are supposed to be contained inside your alimentary canal, and instead are now ending up in your bloodstream.
That's not good.
Right. And so this is going to cause all different types of problems. It's going to cause food sensitivities, and it's going to cause skin inflammation. It's going to cause inflammatory bowel disease, and on and on and on. You could get chronic fatigue from it, even arthritis, fibromyalgia, and things like that. So if you have any of these things, it could be that because you've got leaky gut.
Yeah, a lot of people that get non-alcoholic liver disease,
right,
they don't even realize that this might be one of the catalysts for that issue that they're experiencing. A lot of the studies, too, are showing, which is kind of scary, that our standard American diet is one of the main culprits of creating the cracks, right? We eat all these foods. We talk about it on all the shows. We eat all these processed foods that are high in calories but low in nutrients. Not only are they high in calories but low in nutrients, but many of them have trans fats, and they have a lot of different things that don't make nice in the gut.
Exactly. And you also, excessive alcohol consumption
right,
can also lead to this, and also eating foods with lectins.
Yes.
Right? So peanuts and cashews have a lot of lectins in them, and numerous other foods, nightshade family types of foods, eating raw tomatoes with the seeds and the skin. Has a lot of lectins in it. Eggplant also.
Well, people will say, I like eating those things. And you could still eat them, but you want to make an effort to try to, take the skin off and try to take the seeds off. Because that's where the lectins are like, they go in there and they kind of burrow and they create holes in the
little
intestine.
Caustic proteins that drill holes and then create the leaky gut.
Yeah, so, you got technical with the caustic proteins, but basically they go in there and they drill holes in your gut. So you want to avoid them, especially if you're already sensitive. Some people are overly sensitive to lectins.
Exactly. The other thing is chronic stress also contributes to leaky gut, and we've done shows before, Rollie, on stress and anxiety.
Yep, managing stress and anxiety during trying times. Definitely check that show out, especially with everything that's going on in society. Plus, if it causes stuff like leaky gut, you got to control it.
Yeah. So, what we want to talk about then is, so what do you do in order to not have leaky gut?
Exactly.
Right?
What can you do if to avoid it, and what can you do if you have it?
Yeah. So. One of the main things that we've been learning about lately is the benefits of things like broccoli, cauliflower, and particularly Brussels sprouts. Okay?
Some people don't like them. I like them.
Yeah, Brussels sprouts have this little pungent taste. If you like them, it's really good to help with leaky gut and overall intestinal health and the health of your immune system, a lot of which is in your gut.
Right. Yeah, because that's where you manufacture a lot of that stuff.
You manufacture a lot of the immune cells that are fighting against toxins and invaders and that type of thing. So, but it's important to know that with these cruciferous vegetables, okay, you don't want to eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables raw because there's an acid in them that can damage your thyroid, right? Oh. And so leaky gut can lead to thyroid damage, and too many cruciferous vegetables can lead to thyroid damage. And so you want to steam your cruciferous vegetables, right? But not for too long.
Is that why they tell people that have thyroid issues to stay away from broccoli and stuff like that? The vitamins K in there? The raw stuff.
The raw stuff, because of the acid that's in it that damages your thyroid.
Okay.
And so what you want to do is you want to steam your vegetables, but you want to steam them for only 3 to 4 minutes.
That's pretty. That's pretty short amount of time.
Very short amount of time. It will mitigate some of the acid that could damage your thyroid, and it also activates these compounds that are actually creating the benefit for your gut. And when you eat the food raw, those compounds are not, they don't actually activate, and so they don't work.
Okay.
So eating raw broccoli and Brussels sprouts, cauliflower is not going to do it. You need to steam it for 3 to 4 minutes. If you steam it more than 4 minutes, okay, then it deactivates another compound that helps with the absorption.
Okay. Right? So 3 to 4 minutes, cruciferous vegetables, don't eat them raw.
Right. Now, the other thing that you can do to help with the absorption, so say, for example, you have a recipe where you have to, where maybe you're making broccoli soup, okay, and it's going to cook for more than 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you want to do is chop that broccoli into small pieces.
Okay.
The act of chopping it activates the positive compounds.
Okay.
Okay. Then you can, and it also makes it so you can cook it longer if you chop it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. So if you're just wanting to have some broccoli with some grass-fed butter on it, great. You can take the flowerets or even the stalks, steam it 3 to 4 minutes, go ahead and eat it. All right. Eat it partially cooked.
Gotcha.
But if you're going to make soup, you got to cook it for a half hour. Chop it up really well first.
Right.
Okay. And then another thing you can do is you can add mustard seed powder.
Okay.
Right. Which has an activating compound that helps you to absorb the compound in the broccoli that helps with your leaky gut.
Okay.
And so
pretty cool.
these are ways, it's not as simple as, oh, we got to eat more of this and less of this.
Right.
There's more to it than that, but that's the basic gist of it. We can put a link to an article about that.
Absolutely. What we'll do is we'll have information on not just the article, but how to cook the vegetables properly. We'll get that out there. It'll be in the bottom of the blog. One of the things when I talk to people, they always say, "Well, I don't like the way the broccoli tastes. I don't like the way these things taste." So what you got to do is find something that works for you, right? I mean, these are things that are going to help not only with like gut and everything, but there's so many beneficial compounds in these things that you really got to figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, and so you can also search online, and you can find things like sprouted broccoli seeds, and they'll have it in a powder form,
right?
And you can use that.
That's cool. Right? That's kind of like our barley. Our barley is actually the same type of thing, and because it's a sprouted seed, it actually has a lot of compounds and things in it that can not only help repair the gut, which is what we're going to need to do if we have all these issues, but remove the inflammation that's causing the further damage, right?
Yes.
It's kind of a twofold thing on that barley.
The Gladiator barley will absolutely help with leaky gut, and not only from the compounds that are similar to sprouted broccoli, but also there's a lot of fiber. And another really important aspect of helping with leaky gut is to begin to slowly increase your amount of fiber.
Okay.
Right? Now, fiber is going to help with that, but fiber also is essential for interacting with your good bacteria.
Right. That's the food that fuels the flora.
Yeah,
good flora.
And so it ferments the fiber, and the bacteria does, and creates metabolites. And that's where the magic happens, right? It is because you are creating metabolites like tryptophan, which is the precursor to serotonin, which is an essential neurotransmitter. You wouldn't even be able to get out of bed in the morning without serotonin.
Right.
So this process of interplay between your microbiome and the food you eat creates human metabolites that make your whole human system work.
Right. I get a lot of questions talking about gut flora and how to make it work the best. People ask me, well, what's a prebiotic? What's a prebiotic? And the prebiotic is just the undigestible fiber.
Yeah,
right.
That serves as the food and interaction for the bacteria.
Right. And so the idea with probiotics, and a lot of people take probiotics and think, oh, I got to get the one with the highest colony count. I got to get them 8 billion, whatever, 20 million CFUs. But the real key here is once you get them in, is to actually convert them in the gut. And you don't just need the probiotics to do that, right? You need the prebiotics for the fuel.
Right.
And what they are actually making is what Bob just mentioned is a metabolite, right? The metabolites do what, Bob?
Well, metabolites fuel every one of your metabolic processes.
Right.
Right. So the example we just gave with tryptophan is a metabolite that's created from the interaction of the bacteria with the fiber.
Right. And what's really unique about the probiotics that we have, not only do they have prebiotics in it, but they actually, through the process that we do, have pre-made, already done for you metabolites. So like the thing that you're trying to make in your gut, manufacture naturally, is already in the probiotics, which is a lot of people that we've talked to that have had issues with digestive problems like IBS and Crohn's and these type of things. They use the probiotics and they notice an improvement fairly quickly because they don't have to go through the process of creating metabolites. They're already in there. And so they can get to work.
There's also fiber in our probiotic metabolite product, and there's fiber also in the sprouted barley seeds.
Absolutely.
And there's also fiber in our Boomer Boost product.
Yes.
And in Boomer Boost, there's also a very important compound called phosphatidylcholine. Now, you need to know about this because, having leaky gut can lead to a fatty liver, which means a liver that contains too much fat and it's not being released into the bloodstream. And this is a very serious problem. This is a life-threatening problem if it gets too bad. And it's solvable by first stopping the cause of the problem, which is the leaky gut, and then helping to extract that fat out of the liver so it can be burned for fuel.
Right, because you can use fat for fuel, but not if it's stuck in the liver.
Exactly. So the compound that gets it out is phosphatidylcholine. Now, your body makes phosphatidylcholine Okay. But as you age, you make less and less of it. And if you have an overburden of fat because of leaky gut, it won't be able to keep up. And so we put phosphatidylcholine in Boomer Boost for that reason. And you can also always take extra if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, another thing really important for helping with leaky gut is quercetin, right?
Okay.
So quercetin is in our product that's resveratrol, and it also has quercetin in it.
Yep.
Now, originally, the reason we made that was to help to kill off the old cells that should be dying and getting out of the way of the senescent cells.
Correct.
To create apoptosis. And quercetin and resveratrol together help to facilitate that so that you can replace those old cells with new ones. But it turns out also that quercetin is really good for helping to repair leaky gut, as is glutathione, which is an amino acid that is in the Boomer Boost product itself.
Right. So in the Boomer Boost, you got the phosphatidylcholine, which helps extract the fat, and then the glutathione that helps at the same time.
Yep.
And then the quercetin, it's called resveratrol advanced blend. Actually, it's a blend of multiple different polyphenols, but specifically in there is the quercetin along with the resveratrol combination. And like Bob said, we talked about it on a couple of different shows. But the one that he's talking about is called apoptosis, which is where those old cells die off, and we can make new ones. And so that happens to the quercetin, that happens to cause that wonderful.
The quercetin with the resveratrol together helps to stimulate the cellular death, which in this case is a good thing.
Right.
Because they're old cells that are creating inflammatory issues for all the cells in the region.
Right. And so when you were talking earlier about how the actual lining is made up, where the cells are close together and then they separate, and that's where the issue starts, I would assume that quercetin's helping those cells in that area.
Yes. Yeah. It's actually helping all of your cells, and particularly in that area.
Cool.
And so, just to kind of recap, you want to first make sure that you avoid lectins. Right. You want to also make sure that you avoid too much alcohol, processed foods, other toxins, too much stress, and then be really smart about how you use your cruciferous vegetables. Right.
Cook them right.
Like broccoli, cook them the way that we said, and then make sure that you can also use coconut products, are very good for helping with leaky gut.
Okay.
And then the supplements that we were talking about to make sure that you have the right mix of probiotics, and because you have both good and bad bacteria, so-called, in your gut, and there's a balance. And if it gets out of balance with too many bad, that can cause the leaky gut. So having a good probiotic with metabolites, having a product with phosphatidylcholine and glutathione like Boomer Boost, and then also make sure you have your quercetin, which if you're going to get quercetin, you might as well get it with resveratrol.
Yeah, a lot more benefits.
Because it'll not only help your leaky gut, but it'll help every single part of your body.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So because this is fairly new, leaky gut, right? We've got to look at it with different things, and that's, I think, one of the big things we try to do here is look at what we can find naturally to help kind of go through the rebirth of your intestinal lining.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And what we see when people use these types of products and watch, when they discover that they need to watch their lectins, and of course we help them with their stress also.
Right.
Quite often we find that their inflammatory skin disease, bowel disease, all these types of things that we mentioned before, food sensitivities, even to gluten,
right,
and also things like arthritis, fibromyalgia, they start to go away because it was in part being caused by leaky gut. And so as you address it very smartly, then you'll notice that these things will resolve. And quite often it makes a huge difference in people's lives, because if you have inflammatory bowel disease, you're not very happy, right?
Not
you're
comfortable.
Always worried about
where's the bathroom, what am I going to do if I go out? I can't. My stomach's always a problem.
Yeah. And so if people want to, get in touch with us about this,
give us
certainly
a buzz. 1-800 861-4609. We've got a product specialist that'll help you understand how quercetin and those type of things can help. And, you know, like we were talking, you got to be a champion for your own health, right? It's your health. It's not ours. We can help you with it, but you have to be the champion of your own health, and use the lightning as an example, right?
That's it.
Back to back.
Back to back and coast to coast.
That's right. Listen, here's the deal, you guys. Thanks for watching. Bob, I can't think of anything else.
No, I think that covers it pretty well. Rollie, congratulations again for the Champa Bay Lightning.
I feel like I won.
And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to Live Forever Young Radio, and we'll see you on the next show.
Thanks for listening to Live Forever Young Radio. Check us out at liveforeveryoungradio.com.